Looking at the Fed Reserve balance sheet, we talked about liquidity becoming a problem. Well, they talked about it. The Fed now is injecting $40 billion into the economy through buying T-bills, and they're going to do $40 billion a month. This white line here is all your bank reserves. We knew it was getting tight because banks are having to go to the standing repo facility. If you look at this line here, this represents SOFR balances, which is banks borrowing from each other. Their balances are north of 3 trillion. And every one of these little spikes here, you can see that this top line here, the price of money actually goes up because these banks are running lower and lower on cash, and they're going to have to charge more to lend that cash to each other. The Fed steps in and says, hey, I've got the standing repo facility, and we're going to cap that rate. This is how they cap this top line here, and that's how they prevent the banks from driving the cost of money up. The standing repo facility is here to say, hey, rather than borrowing from another bank, go borrow from me, the Fed. We saw this in the last month. The Fed mentioned it this week. And here on December 10th, we are going to now start buying $40 billion worth of T-bills. Here, they're injecting it because banks have to borrow it. Here, the Fed's just saying, I'm putting $40 billion of cash into the bank system. Some people will call it they're printing money. But they're going to be buying treasuries. They're going to be growing their balance sheet again. Not a good thing. They were trying to run it off. Well, they're at 6 trillion now. It's not going any lower. They will be growing their balance sheet. And this is also kind of like a Fed put, where the Fed's saying, hey, I'm going to step in, and worst case scenario, I'm going to inject liquidity into the system. So that's problematic. Now, you're going to see the Fed balance sheet grow, but in return, you're also going to see bank reserves start creeping back up. They did this preemptively because between January and April is tax season. So they know if people are paying tons of taxes, money's going to come out of the banking system and it's going to go to the government. And that's going to start increasing these balances preemptively. And then in that time frame, you'll start seeing that run down because they do not want to see it hit ample reserves. That would cause a bigger macro problem. So if that 40 billion does not work, and it's not enough, and money continues to drop out of the banking system, you'll see this start having some clogs again. And if that happens, you're going to have a bigger macro problem. Is there an immediate problem today? No, but it is something worth watching.